What were you thinking? You're awake for the procedure. What's going through your head?
I was just trying to focus on the roof and just think, stay calm, keep breathing, just pretend this will all be over in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But just knowing, and also because I could see what they were doing on the screen too, and the noise of the machine was, and they warned us about everything, but actually physically being there, you want to go into panic mode, but the best thing to do is not.
Not to panic.
Yeah.
And now, since the operation, how's the recovery?
Slower than I thought it would be. Recovering from that anaesthetic and stuff wasn't an issue. It was more just the whole process of not knowing what to expect in the morning. When you wake up and not knowing how it's gonna look or react, or I love swimming, so I can't go for a swim, and it's just I wish I'd have known about it before.
So it does end up affecting all sorts of parts of your life, at least in the recovery period initially.
Definitely.
Do a lot of your girlfriends know that you went through this?
When I told them about I have human papillomavirus, and they're like, what is that? No one had heard about it. And then the more people you talk to about it and you tell them about the procedure that you're going to have to go through and what you think it's going to be about and how much of a pain in the ass it is to have, you find more and more girls that are actually, that are my age and have just got the news that they've got HPV, or have just got the news that they're SIN 1, 2 or 3, and that they're having to pay a lot to go through private, healthy way to get it fixed.
At the moment in America, the treatment diagnosis of pre-cancer and cancer of the cervix, I think, is worth about $6 billion with a B dollars each year to the US government. Now, I'm not sure what the figures are in Australia, but it's a huge cost for women having pap smears, having repeat pap smears, coming in, have a colposcopy and biopsy, seeing a specialist. It's a huge issue. By preventing HPV-related diseases in the long term, we'll be able to decrease dramatically the cost of screening women.
But like most men, even the health minister prefers not to think about what women go through now.
I certainly don't claim to be an expert in women's health. I'm the health minister, and when it comes to women's health, as in so many other areas, I'm very much reliant on my expert advice, but I have no reason to think that my expert advice is not good.
Is it the sort of thing that you discuss with your wife though? I mean, I'm told that virtually no woman going along to have a pap smear or to have treatment after an irregular pap smear ever brings her partner with her. No husband, boyfriend or anybody else. Men seem to keep out of it. I was wondering, is that something that you now think about? Do you talk to your wife about it?
Well, I've certainly talked to the kids about the HPV vaccine, but I must confess, talk to my princess about the intimate details of sexual health. No.
Why do you think this secrecy surrounds HPV?
I don't know, because I'm a very open person. I'd rather talk about these things than hold them in. But no one's spoken to me about it. It was a brand new thing, and then to know that you have it and you have it so, big time. It's just because you don't know who to talk to then. But I think the secrecy is because it's not something that's normally talked about. You've got breast cancer that's a really big thing in the news, and you've got little pamphlets and stuff on cervical cancer. But you think at 23, it's not. We want to party, we want to finish uni, we want to we want to do all these other things. We don't want to think about scary hospital rooms and operations and things.
And I guess if people actually were more informed about it, when they actually find out if they had it, it wouldn't be such a scary, confronting situation because you'd have the information.
Yeah.
So you think being kept in the dark like that, it's important to make people aware of a thing called cervical dysplasia.
Definitely, but I don't think people purposely kept us in the dark about it. I just think there's so many things to know about these days that you don't, like when I went for my pap smear, it was the first one I'd ever had. And, we weren't really told even at school how important pap smears were, and, you get inoculations and things like that, but you don't get told why you're having them. You just know that you have to have it, and then you had it and it's okay. So I coach some netball girls, and they're all about 15, 16, and they're going through the course of the vaccination at the moment. And they're like, oh, we don't know what it's about, but we just got to have it, 3 injections, what a pain in the ass. And I was like, well, I told them then, why you really have this operation. vaccination, so you don't have to have the operation.
Gardasil.
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 With Gardasil, you could be one less.
Today, Gardasil is being marketed aggressively in the Western world, and the drugs manufacturers stand to make billions of dollars. Some of that money will flow back to Australia in the form of royalties, and it will be used to fund further research into other forms of cancer. But will Gardasil reach those women who need it most? Those women in third world countries where rates of cervical cancer remain high and the level of education stays low.
First one is that the companies that make the vaccine have made it clear that they'll make the vaccine available in the developing world at the cost of manufacture, which is of course a lot less than the cost that we have to pay for the vaccine here. So that helps, and then the Gates Foundation have also indicated that in partnership with the companies they will ensure that this vaccine gets made available to the countries with low income paid for by the Gates Foundation. So that the issue then becomes making sure the vaccine used in the developing countries, that they actually feel that they want this vaccine, because obviously each country has to choose whether it wants to vaccinate its women or not. There, I think the most important thing is to show that it can be done in the developing world, which is why, in conjunction with a colleague in Brisbane, Margaret McAdam, we're doing a project in Vanuatu to show that we can actually deliver the vaccine to 12-year-old women in a resource-poor setting and achieve reasonable coverage in the population. There's nothing like a success story saying that we've actually managed to make it work to encourage other countries to adopt that sort of vaccine programme.
In Australia, 60% of women take part in regular pap smears. All women who have been sexually active should have pap smears until they reach the age of 70. And even with Gardasil immunisation, that should continue.
The whole process of having a pap smear is embarrassing but very important. And there are a number of ads on television right now trying to increase the uptake of pap smear screening program. There are a number of women who don't avail themselves to the screening program because of that reason. That is, they have to come in and be exposed, often to a male doctor as well. But it's so important. A large percentage of patients who are developing cancer in this country are those patients who have not had a recent pap smear.
At least for these girls, the vaccination program means they won't pick up HPV. They won't record abnormalities in their pap smears, and they're unlikely to face the trauma of medical procedures and the fear of cervical cancer.
I'm not sure how expensive it is and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure if you go find the right avenues, it's, pretty accessible.
Worth that, a couple of jabs in the arm as opposed to what you had to go through.
Definitely worth it. Yeah, it's a given, no question about it. What I had to go through was probably more traumatising than I prepared for. So then when it really happened, and there's the follow-up things as well, the follow-up procedures and things that you've got to just all the checkups regular. I think they're saying every 6 months now I have to come back and have another colonoscopy. And you like to forget, you like to think, okay, I've been given this medicine and it's going to fix it and I don't have to worry about it anymore, but it's not like taking a Panadol,
So for women, the message is that immunisation is a must. It may save your life. Certainly, it will save you the likelihood of severe emotional trauma. HPV is the common cold of sexual activity. You just don't know who or how or when. But the chances of picking it up are extremely high.
And the message for men is that HPV and cervical cancer are not women's business. It's your business too. Whether it's your wife, partner, sister or daughter, encourage her to be immunised and help guard her life from ever being affected by cervical cancer.